A popular WWE personality asks for their release, plus a title match is added to NXT War Games, and the daughter of a WWE legend is training to wrestle. It's all in the wrestling news right now. We worm in sadness today. Scotty to Hotty has gone from WWE.
This is indeed very, very sad. Scotty Too Hotty has been acting as a trainer at the Performance Centre for bloody ages now. He's been there for so long, and he's one of those people that you hear about in nothing but a positive light. Everybody absolutely loves the King of the Worm. What was it? The Master of the Worm. Apologies.
He's the King of the Worm as well. I believe he stood on the Titanic and went, "I'm the King of the Worm!" I remember correctly. Scott Harland on Twitter last night wrote, "Today I have asked for my release from World Wrestling Entertainment. 30 years ago, I stepped into..." Come on, Scotty's pouring his heart out here. There you go. Barman, I'd like a worm do. What's a worm do? It wriggles along the ground like that. Today I have asked for my release from World Wrestling Entertainment. 30 years ago I stepped into a WWE ring for the very first time. I have lived my dream 100 times over. Some of my most special memories will always be from the last 5 years working with NXT. The black and gold brand was something special, and I am proud to have been a small part of it. I always promised myself that I would never be part of something solely for the paycheck, and that is where I was at. I told myself I would walk away if I ever got to that point.
You choking up?
No, a little bit of saliva in the back of my throat. Ooh. So that is what I have chosen to do. Coaching and producing the stars of NXT will always be a highlight of my life. I love you all more than you will ever know. Apologies, Scott Harland. Will you do Desert Island Graps for a minute? Yeah, I mean, okay, we joke and laugh aside, but again, somebody who has been, as you say, a lovely guy, intricately involved with the developmental brand, and you know, probably one of many who have gone, this isn't the world that I want to work in anymore.
Yeah, it's quite sad to hear, isn't it? Because he has been there for so long. I remember speaking to one of the wrestlers backstage at WCBW, and they said that Scotty had come over and they'd done a training session in the UK. It was like 15 quid. And this guy, I'm not going to name his name, he had trained with all sorts of really, really big names, and he said Scotty Too Hotty was the best one that he's ever done. So I imagine he'll be really sorely missed from there. Fightful Select reporting that the man formerly known as Kenny Dykstra will be moving, or could be moved, to Raw in the wake of Scotty's departure.
So, I mean, great for Ken Doan to get the nod up, but obviously on to other things for Scott Harland. Whatever you do next, I'm intrigued to see. Meanwhile, last night, on that NXT brand that Scott is leaving behind, a title match was added to War Games. Sorry, War Games. We don't say it like that anymore, do we? They don't do it anymore.
It's a different show.
It's a different world, isn't it? That's probably why Scotty left. Joe Gacy, £245, is facing Diamond Mines Roderick Strong for the Cruiserweight Championship. Now,
why have you put the weight on?
Because
it's for Joe Gacy.
Because it's the Cruiserweight title, which is what makes people go, what?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't pick up on that sooner. That is weird.
The championship for £205 and under, which means, like, Brock Lesnar is only about £35 away from challenging for the Cruiserweight title. Go on, Brocky Doodah. Get amongst it. In fact, we are the same weight. He carries it better, so I can challenge for it now.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Okay, so there is a storyline reason behind this happening. I quite like the way they've sort of made this fit. So Joe Gacy has accused Roderick Strong, first of all, of having a name that encourages toxic masculinity by putting strong in his name, and says that the NXT Cruiserweight Championship is weight shaming. So therefore, he should be allowed to challenge for it. It should just because he's a bit bigger. I think, you know what, that's fine. And the Diamond Mine have gone, you know what, get amongst it. Do it, fill your boots, have a go.
Legit, I think he's class. I think it has the potential to be a truly complex, layered character. And WWE so far with Gacy are doing really good stuff, and I just hope they don't cock it up, because he's great. He's great.
Next week he's doing an all-inclusive invitational. is Joe
good.
Gacy. And here's my theory, right? I'm going to pop this out into the world, right? I think Joe Gacy beats Roderick Strong for the Cruiserweight title, holds an all-inclusive invitational for the title the following week. Ivy Nile steps in and takes it from him. Ivy Nile beats him for it. There you go.
Like it.
You're welcome. So let's take a look at War Games as it's going down. Now, the card is quite... It's a bit confusing. It's a bit forced at points as well. Obviously, apart from the Cruiserweight match that we've just discussed, Marcel Barthel and Fabian Eichner will defend the NXT tag titles against either Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde from Legado del Fantasma or Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner. Von Wagner could potentially work 2 matches next week. More on that in a minute. Cameron Grimes and Duke Hudson having a hair versus hair match. They've been fighting over poker and love and romance for some time now. We've got 2 War Games matches. The first being Io Shirai, Raquel Gonzalez, Cora Jade, and replacing an injured Zoe Stark, Kaylee Ray, who's kind of been sort of like a bit heelish.
Yeah.
More heel than face. So it's again, I don't know whether it says more. I don't know whether this is more of a deeper story they're telling, or maybe it shows a sort of lack of depth on that side of things. But she's going to be teaming with them to face Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, JC Jane, and Dakota Kai. So Toxic Attraction and Dakota Kai in the War Games match. And then they kind of got us to the second War Games match, which would be the main event. And it was on commentary where they sort of shouted old school versus new school as Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne, and LA Knight will face Bron Breakker, Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, and Tony D'Angelo. I thought Von Wagner was in that match. Ignore what I said earlier about him working double shifts. That's me talking out of my bottom.
I thought you meant he was going to have a match on SmackDown because he's been popping up there backstage.
I mean, he might as well, but no, ignore what I said about Von Wagner. But I mean, it's a funny one because like Tony D'Angelo is a heel, but a very lovable heel. Grayson Waller's a face. Carmelo Hayes is a heel, I think. Bron Breakker's a face, but it's the whole idea of like they're going to fight the old guard.
Yeah,
and
it's not going to be an all-timer, this one, is it, at all?
I would love it if it was.
Hey, but it doesn't have to be because it's not a takeover anymore. It's just a standalone pay-per-view. There you go.
Very true. Dexter Lumis missing some time, isn't he, Adam?
Yeah, announced on NXT this week. He is going to be out of action for, quote, over a month. He was attacked by Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams during last week's show. And then Indy Hartwell
go on.
Worming out the door. Loomis's storyline wife saying in a backstage interview, he's got a fractured hand, a few broken metacarpals, and he's going to be out for over a month. So we wish him the best.
New star coming to NXT. So this is something that we actually saw in action on 205 Live this past Friday, but they started the promos to bring her into the company proper. This is Tiffany Stratton, who was in a video titled Tiffany's Epiphanies, which was on the show last night.
I think I've seen that on X-Hamster.
Oh, I think I've seen that one too. I wasn't sat with you there, that'd be weird. The whole shtick being like this is... I suppose it wouldn't. The gimmick being like she is a spoiled daddy's girl, essentially.
Yeah, that is the video that I saw. Sorry, no, right, there's been a vignette that's here.
Yeah,
for Tiffany Stratton, and she's going, Daddy, I'm ready to take over NXT. Don't clip it. And he's never wrong, Daddy said. Sorry. And Silver Spoon mentions diamonds, fancy Gucci, Prada, stuff like that.
Coming soon. Stratton was on 205 Live. And do you know what looked really impressive on 205 Live?
Like, she's all right.
A part of the new sort of initiative to bring in wrestlers without an ostensibly strong wrestling background and build them from the ground up. This is what WWE and NXT is all about at the moment. And she's got a sort of a CrossFit history, and she's very athletically gifted. Intrigued to see where we go. Talking of wrestlers who are sort of coming through and training, Stephanie McMahon having a chat with Talk Sports in between adverts for Autoglass, and she gave us an update on Triple H saying that he's doing well, he's comfortable, so nice to see, nice to hear. Be well soon, Trips. And she talked a little bit about the family.
Yeah, absolutely. Really interesting one here. She said, we have 3 daughters, Triple H and I do. They're 15, 13 and 11. Our oldest said when she was 8 years old, Mama, I don't want your dad. Daddy, I want your job. What? Mama, I don't want
I think
your
I think it should have said, I want you, I don't want your job.
I'm literally reading what's written here.
Now that might have been a copy-paste effort on my behalf.
Mommy, I don't want your dad. This has been the worst news video we've ever done.
Greatest news video we've
Just
ever
sing
done.
Titanic. Right, she's training to wrestle. There's a 15-year-old, Stephanie's kid, Aurora, her name is. She doesn't want Stephanie's dad. She wants Triple H's job.
Yes,
Sorry, Vince.
That's it. So okay, so I'll give you the
No, we don't.
Let me read the story
They've got
properly.
it. There's a kid. She's 15. She's training to wrestle.
Aurora.
And she's wrestling royalty. Aurora H, I believe her name is. Awesome, but she doesn't want.
Let's see what happens with my oldest daughter Aurora, who's already started training in the ring. There you go. And just
There you
get
go.
that line,
Yeah,
and that's the whole line for the news.
That's your lot. Flawless. So the subscribe button's down there.
Click it or unclick it.
Yeah,
It's on you.
Doesn't matter. All the best.
Oh, come back, Jack. Come back, Jack. There's a boat.
I thought you meant Jack the Jobber. I thought you were blaming me for. I thought you were blaming me for. Mama, I don't want your dad.
I was still doing Titanic.
Right. Come on.
Click another video.
Stand up.
Click another video from around there. Click
Stand
another.
up. Arms out.
Ooh.
Once more, open the door. Terrible.
Love you, bye.
See you in a bit.
Click
Crap.
a video from around there.